Hi everybody, Glenn Martin Photography here yet again in Canberra, and tonight I'm going to give you some tips about how to set your camera up for shooting the moon. I'm out a little bit early tonight because I wanted it to be light enough so you can see my camera and the different settings. And what I'll just do now is show you the back of my camera super quick so you can come back to this video later and just scrub to the settings and look at it as a starting point. So let's just have a quick look. So as a starting point for shooting the full moon, 1/200th of a second, f8, ISO 100. These are the main settings you want to concern yourself with, but over the next few minutes I'll sort of show you some tips and ideas. So where's the moon? So you can see it up there right now, and you can see on my camera I've got a pretty big lens. I think I might have said it before, it's possible I'm compensating for something with photography, I'm not sure what. But this is a Canon 100 to 400mm lens, and it's got a Canon 1.4 times extender. So at full length, I've actually got a focal length of about 560mm. Red hot tip, in my opinion, unless you've got at least a 300mm lens, you are going to end up with a tiny little dot on your screen. So the bigger the lens you've got, the better. But let's have a look at the moon through the back of my camera. There it is. Get rid of some of this stuff. The sky looks black, and this is because I'm exposing for the moon and because the moon is really, really bright. If I was exposing for the sky, I'll just turn my phone into aperture priority. See how everything brightens up, and now the moon is blown out. It's this big white blob.
Batman speaking.
And it's because my camera wants to take a 2.5 second exposure. That's way too long for shooting the moon. It'll just be bright like the sun, because basically that's what it's doing, it's reflecting the sun. So we'll take it back to manual mode. Let me step you through the settings and why it's set like this. Now 1/200th. This is really important because the moon actually moves really fast, but let me show you how fast the moon actually moves. So if I bring my camera up into live view and I'll zoom in on it at 10 times, hopefully you can see the moon is actually moving in frame. This is why you have to shoot so fast. Anything less than 1/60th of a second, in my opinion, you're going to get a blurry shot. You really want it up around 1/200th. We'll pop back to the camera settings. F8, let me just take a quick exposure for you here. And you see how quick the moon is actually moving. I need to keep, readjusting my camera to get it in frame. So let's just take a quick exposure. And if you see here, at 1/200th of a second, f8, ISO 100, that is the level of detail I'm getting. Now, just to prove a point, if I slow down my exposure, and I'm just going to go to 1/25th of a second, let's see what happens here. Take that shot, and we'll just go in on that. For a start, it's blown out, and we're starting to lose detail in the image because the moon is moving. We'll just set that back up to 1/200th. I'm using my faithful trigger release here because even though I've got a carbon fiber tripod and it's rated to carry all of this gear, let me just show you when I zoom back in, and you can probably even see it now. Look how much the moon is moving about. Even if I give the tripod a light tap, you don't want to be trying to use the button on your camera to take the moon because it's still moving too much. I use my exposure trigger. I make sure that I wait long enough that the camera has definitely stopped shaking before I take my picture. If you don't have a remote trigger, use your camera's self-timer. Use a 10-second delay, and that will give the camera and the tripod hopefully time to stop shaking around before you take the shot, because as still as you can at these kind of focal lengths is where you want to be. That's the last of what I think I can show you. Remembering 1/200th of a second, f8 for your aperture, ISO 100. will give you a really great starting point to get the moon. I hope you found that useful.